the SPLYCE team, we talked so much about these teams that are changing rosters left and right. The great roster shuffle of North America and Europe. And for SPLYCE and the Manhattan team that just qualified, exact same rosters, except the sub is different.
Right, and we didn't even touch on that. SPLYCE does have this kind of super sub in Dapper. Of course, he is the substitute for SPLYCE, and I think it's actually kind of a comfort fourth man to have. Someone isn't feeling good one day or say, hey, you know what, I'm not playing well today. They can put Dapper in and plug him into the roster, and we know who Dapper is. If you don't know Dapper, then you don't know Rocket League. And he's a guy who's been around forever at the highest level. So being able to have a comfortable fourth man to come in when things aren't going right is great for SPLYCE.
Yeah, and it's not like in the past where, your sub is just this guy you stick on the roster and you just forget he exists. You remember, SPLYCE only won 2 matches last season. One of those matches, they used their sub in Genocop, who just went off against the Dudes last season, and really was the biggest reason that the Dudes did not retain their spot from Rival Series. They did not finish in the top 4 because SPLYCE got to them for one of their 2 wins.
And we talked a lot about SPLYCE here, Stacks, and I want to shift the focus now over to Afterthought, because this is a team, like James said on the desk, that has been grinding the 6-mans, even the ranked, whatever it may be. They've want this, and they want it bad. Everyone wants it bad. I know for a fact that for normal times, he's been grinding quite a bit. I actually ran into him ranked recently, and he obliterated me. I'm a caster, by the way, but I mean, he is a fantastic player in his own right. So I expect good things from this Afterthought squad. They have a tall order going against a fan favorite in SPLYCE.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this is what the Rival Series is all about. It's about the new opportunities, these new faces. Of course, everybody knows who all these players on SPLYCE are. Everybody knows Jay-Wiz. Everybody knows Dude, Karma. Even the sub, everybody knows who Dapper is. Nobody really knows who Shock, Normal Times, all these guys are. This is their chance to make a statement, and of course, make a statement against I guess you could say a perennial Rival Series power, perhaps, in SPLYCE. As we get into game number 1, again, a best of 5 to send somebody into the Rival Series to join Manhattan and the other teams that have already retained their spots. Here's Hoxer to start things off for Afterthought. Not able to get the ball downfield, neither is Shock. And now the pressure already coming out from SPLYCE, getting that first opportunity. See how long they can keep this up as Karma misses out of the corner. And finally, they should have this clear, but that's a double commit from Afterthought. It hasn't punished them just yet, but Nose Dude is there, lurking on the far side. That kicks out and away, and finally it looks like Afterthought can settle down and clear this out.
And that's a great start from SPLYCE. High pressure in the beginning, able to just kind of get in the face of Afterthought, kind of show him, hey, this is who you're dealing with right now. It's SPLYCE, and we're here to play.
Shock will sky one up for Hoxer, but Nose Dude has the read. And it has been an active offseason for Nose Dude. He's been very busy, was a guest over at the Northern Arena Invitational, played in the World Gaming National Finals. He's had plenty of competitive experience, and he's been around the game at a very high level all offseason long. Jay Wismont gonna have this one. Needs to find a teammate. Instead, he'll just find an open space on the blue side of the field. This is trouble.
Oh.
They just left the ball behind, and Trevor scores first.
Normal Times, a huge whiff coming out from here. Hoxer, not the best touch from him either, but man, talk about no touch for Normal Times. It's a wide open net for Nose Dude, and SPLYCE, not the prettiest goal as it came off of a pretty bad whiff there from Normal Times, but they get the first goal.
It only took 9 seconds in our first series to get a goal. This one taking much longer, but still kind of the same level of goal. Just a big mistake letting SPLYCE get on the board first. Let's see how Afterthought answers. It's a shot just wide from Hoxer. Shock will keep this in, but only temporarily. Nose Dude does get taken out of the play by Shock, though. So it's a chance, at least, for Afterthought to get downfield, but they're going to have to play the long game to do so. Karma's drive just a little bit high, and that's going to be sent all the way back downfield by Normal Times. Weird to not see him teaming up with someone like Leftical, who had been a teammate of his for quite a while. Nobody at the net again, and now Karma scores on the empty net.
Yeah, and Karma taking huge advantage of Hoxer, kind of turning back around. You see him, he's trying to backflip. He knows he got caught there, and Karma exposes him for that defensive mistake.
Indecisiveness will kill you more often than not in Rocket League. It has hurt this Afterthought team twice now in the first half of game one. Jay Wismont, he'll miss above the ball here, but that just means Nose Dude can come in, and the lead continues to grow.
And Stacks, I don't want to make the same point here, but Hoxer again kind of backflipped, went backwards to the ball going over his head again. SPLYCE just collapsing on the play, able to put it away. A great shot there from Nose Dude. Now a 3-0 lead for SPLYCE.
It has been a 2.5 minutes for Hoxer to forget. If he's able to, he could certainly go with a mental clean slate and really start to take over here in the second half of game one. Shock waiting on the near post. Doesn't matter, the shot's over him, and Jay Wismont will just throw it to the corner. Nose Dude, actually, Karma was over there. And now Karma way at the back to at least challenge. And Hoxer's pass is not going to find normal times. Nobody's home on the other side, and SPLYCE have another one.
And again, too many players up on the field. Hoxer, not the best touch. It was a great idea to drop it down, but everyone past half field for Afterthought, and SPLYCE, again, exposes them for not having anyone back on defense, and now opens up a 4-0 lead.
Defense has seemed like an afterthought so far, at least in the first few minutes of game one. Jay Wismont winning another challenge. And Karma not able to get that away from Shock. Good opportunity now for Afterthought, but Nose Dude there for the challenge. And that will kill the attack immediately for Afterthought. Another loose ball in front, but Hoxer recovers and stops the bleeding from getting any worse.
And Afterthought really panicking on defense right now, not able to grab a hold of the ball there. And you see, again, everyone just kind of too far up here. SPLYCE has a man downfield past the entirety of Afterthought, and SPLYCE kind of using that third man upfield as kind of a point to play off of him because the defense is so far pushed up from Afterthought.
This is on target from Jay Wismont, keeping normal times way at the back. And it just seems like every time Afterthought even sniff the orange side of the field, SPLYCE are there collectively to bring it right back to the blue side, keep more offensive pressure on, and stop Afterthought from getting any kind of momentum, anything that resembles momentum. Karma up the ladder. This is just wide of the mark. And Shock will throw it over towards normal times. And that's really what this Afterthought team needs. They need to get some passes. They don't need this from Jay Wismont, though. What a snipe.
Jay Wismont, what a shot from him. In normal times, a touch that just kind of got away from him. And the last defender in Hoxer gets beat near post, not able to get up in front of that ball. And Afterthought are just letting goal after goal in right now. Not even a shot coming out for them.
And you wouldn't even call it bad defense necessarily. It's just the shot was so fast at literally the only point of the goal that Hoxer couldn't get to. And sure enough, it's a 5-0 game now as SPLYCE, they have felt like they are on a mission all afternoon.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that SPLYCE has right now is a lot of space moving up the field. There's a lot of midfield open for SPLYCE. And again, there's been a couple times where Hoxer's just been beat over his head and the defense pushed too far up for Afterthought.
We did see this in our first series, a blowout in game one, but a fight put up by the team that got blown out in the second game. They ended up taking a game, did the Peeps against Manhattan. So the storyline is there. There is precedent for Afterthought. At least they can hang on to that hope as they have been, I guess, thoroughly dispatched in game number one. SPLYCE may be looking for one more just to put a ribbon on this one. Karma to pop one up for Nose Dude. That shot's high, but Jay Wismont's there, and that will touch down SPLYCE. The only thing they didn't do right that game, they didn't score at 0.
And for SPLYCE, this is a great way to start off your qualification match. Again, every match we're going to see today on the NA side is a qualification match, best of 5 here in SPLYCE. Coming out, putting up 5 goals, 11 shots to their name. And like we said in the beginning of the game, they kind of showed their dominance right off the bat. They were able to put Afterthought on the back heel and definitely expose the defense. And Hoxer was the guy to seemed to be the third man back a lot, and he just could not put up with the offense coming out from SPLYCE.
Let me ask you something. How many times have you seen a team get 0 shots and win a game?
Never. Well, I mean, I'm sure. Well, maybe.
Very, very rarely.
I've never seen it. I'm sure it's happened somewhere.
I'm sure it has happened somewhere. I have not seen it outside of people just kind of messing around in casual games. So no shots for Afterthought in that game. that obviously has to change if they're going to have any chance against Splyce.
Yeah, and it just seemed that they couldn't hold on to the ball, especially going into the midfield. I talked about Splyce being able to move the ball downfield with a lot of space, and that's something that Afterthought really needs to clean up. Either Hawks are staying back farther or being quicker to the ball. If that's their third man, that's the guy who's got to get to the ball and shut down any opportunity for Splyce to get things going, because we saw in the beginning of the game and really throughout the game, a 5-goal game, Splyce had an offense that was clicking on all cylinders.
All right, so we will be getting into game number 2 in just a moment, with Afterthought really needing a huge answer early on against Splyce here in the second game. Otherwise, this series very well could get away from them, as Normal Times will start it off for Afterthought. And this to the backboard. Normal Times was lurking there, but this will be sent away, and Splyce have killed off the very early attack from Afterthought.
It's a good start for Afterthought. I mean, you want to get things going. That's a great play from Afterthought. The pass down from Shock, and Normal Times putting it back post.
Yeah, Normal Times has been everywhere in this first 20 seconds, and he really takes over for Afterthought. Maybe that's what they need, just like Gyro tried to do for the Peeps. Maybe that's going to be the key for Afterthought. Let's see how Splyce responds now after giving up the early goal. It'll be Karma as this kisses the ceiling. Nose Dude is there for the rebound. Here comes Jay Wismont on target, but right at Shock. And Shock's shot back the other way. That's going to be Normal Times to set one up again. Karma coming off the backboard has the clear, and a dangerous spot there for Splyce. Danger averted as they try to get back on the offensive end. Normal Times now, he misses here. That was the story in game 1. He's off to a much better start this time around. Let's see what Shock can do with half a tank of boost. Well, he really blew through 50 pretty quickly. He picked up the boost, and then you look, he gets one touch, already down to about 58.
And for Afterthought right now, they're sitting on a 1-goal lead, so it's something like I mentioned in the Manhattan game for Peeps is you don't want to overcommit on anything. Just go when Splyce makes mistakes, and that's the best way to approach this situation, because Splyce absolutely decimated Afterthought in the first game. You want to get a game back here in game number 2.
For some of the discussion lately around the RLCS and even in the rival series has been about some of the more advanced stats, players and teams really starting to take a deeper look at their efficiency. How well are they using boost? Karma was one of the players who used the most boost in the previous season of the rival series. It didn't really work out for Splyce, and you wonder what adjustments they've made. Wonder if those will be visible here in this series as they try to play their way back in. Normal Times to set up Shock, and a block there by Jay Wismont.
And we're starting to see things that we didn't see from Aftershock or Afterthought, as they are able to set up a lot more plays and find each other in the offensive third. It's great play from Afterthought. They need to keep it going, though.
Jay Wismont, good read here, but it's right at Hoxer, who can only drop this to the side. Karma now against Normal Times, just barely able to see him coming on, plays around him. Now Nose Dude. Oh, Jay Wismont was actually bumped into a shot. Boy, how miserable would Normal Times have felt if that found its way in.
It's good recovery there from Jay Wismont. He knew that pass was coming, and he just flipped himself into it after he got bumped there. Great recognition from the play there.
Wismont had the reset, but he's out of control, and Karma's shot will be set aside. Nose Dude after the miss by Normal Times, and a shot wide by Jay Wismont. Karma will have this one cascade down, and Hoxer blocked Jay Wismont out of the way.
Yeah, an absolute fiesta in front of the net there for Afterthought. They were just kind of watching things happen as nobody was able to get in front of it, able to get that clear and bail themselves out.
Inside 2 minutes, another blast from Karma, and that's blocked by Shock. Hoxer does not clear this away, and Karma can't get there in time. It looked like she had Normal Times beat, but Normal Times able to do just enough to keep Splyce off the board.
Normal Times coming in and saving the day at the last second to keep their 1-goal lead, but Splyce threatening again.
Normal Times thought about it, changed his mind. That indecisiveness has worked out this time. Hoxer's shot blocked by Nose Dude. Normal Times with the rebound. That's blocked by Nose Dude again. Now they need to get on the offensive end. They've got over a minute to go. Otherwise, this series will be tied up. Karma blocked by Shock there. A great job by Afterthought, not letting this ball get to the center of the field. You can see SPLYCE trying to get creative in how they get that ball there, and they're met every time by Afterthought.
And Afterthought, they're kind of playing a lot of defense right now. They've had a couple plays that worked out on offense, excuse me, but a lot of pressure coming out from SPLYCE. You got to think with 40 seconds left, can they hold on?
Oh, this one gets past Karma, but nobody there to punish. Kicked off the back wall, and Hoxer will just sky this away to the corner. Down to 30 seconds left. More valuable seconds coming off the clock, but no real offensive pressure. That demo on Karma will at least help kill more time because Nose Dude is on the other side of the field. Karma misses here as SPLYCE are chasing the game here, trying to avoid this series being tied up. Shock for Hoxer. No, he'll play it himself, and Hoxer backs off. Very patient play from Afterthought when they could have started playing hero ball. Last chance for SPLYCE. Jay Wismont. Karma is waiting, but she's not going to be able to make a move, and that will do it. Afterthought have tied the series.
Wow, and just like that, Afterthought able to hold on to a one-goal lead after gets an early goal there, a long time sitting on that one goal, and SPLYCE just couldn't find the answer for the defense. They couldn't unlock that defensive wall. They had an opportunity for normal times. He was coming in and he made that last-second save. SPLYCE was right in front of the net, and they couldn't put it away. You got to think that could have been a turning point for SPLYCE.
Yeah, that whole game mentally for the entirety of Afterthought has to be just like a weight being lifted off their shoulders. Because, again, it was a comedy of errors in that first game, but they come back very strong in game two. And when you get a 1-0 win like that, that's got to feel especially good because defense is so hard to play consistently at this level in Rocket League.
Yeah, and for Afterthought, like you said, they got to be feeling good getting the second game win. Now they know that they're not going to get 3-0'd. They know that they can beat SPLYCE, and I think that's going to give them confidence going into these later games. Again, this is everything on the line, and for Afterthought, for a lot of these players, it's their first time on this stage. SPLYCE, they've been here. They've done that a couple times now, and they want to get back, and they want to prove themselves again in another rival series, but they got to go through Afterthought, who is putting up a fight now.
Yeah, as we look down at our script here, the players have followed it right to the T. The first series being tied after 2 games, this series tied after 2 games, and now another best of 5 has effectively turned into a best of 3. 2 of the next 3 wins will get you into the rival series as the second team to qualify this afternoon. Normal time, Shock and Hoxer making up this Afterthought team, really again trying to make a name for themselves against the stalwarts of SPLYCE, Karma, Jay Wismont, and Nose Dude. Wismont's going to take this and just throw one downfield. A little token pressure to start things off for SPLYCE, as they don't really look like they're in attack formation just yet.
And I think this is kind of a reflection point for Afterthought. They won the last game in a 1-0 close game there, but and again, you can't give up goals like that, but they win last game in 1-0, and it was poor defensive, a lot of defensive mistakes coming out from them that they got bailed out. Here's another one, a bad defensive mistake. Shock can't get to the ball. SPLYCE do get one to fall in the first 30 seconds, a goal that they were trying to get for the last 4 minutes of the last game.
Yeah, and a great pass as well from Jay Wismont to set up Karma there. Her shot as far away from Shock as possible as SPLYCE score first, something that, of course, they did not do in the entire previous game. Nose Dude not able to get this through Hoxer, but Hoxer can't continue the play. Jay Wismont, he's feeling it and just twisting around, not able to get around on the shot to put it on target, nor could he drop one down for Karma. So a missed opportunity there for SPLYCE as they really had the defense of Afterthought beaten there.
Yeah, and here's where we get to see what Afterthought is made of. They go down early 1-0. Last time this happened, the game just completely fell away from them and out the back. That is how you respond right there. It's Shock to Normal Times tying it back up.
Normal Times looking to take over this series, and he has been outstanding. As big a reason as any that Afterthought are even in this position in the first place.
And just as I make the point, Afterthought proved me right or wrong, I guess. They put away a goal and they tie up the game. That is how you respond after going down, not giving up 5 more goals.
Mark your calendar, September 1st, 2018. Corelli, wrong and admitting it. It does happen. Karma coming in out of nowhere to force this one through. Hit about the same spot in the goal before it finally rolled in.
Yeah, this is off of Jay Wismont's pass off the back wall. Uncontested. Hoxer just trying to fly across and get it. It eventually goes in off the far post there for Karma. And just like that, SPLYCE back in the lead.
Back and forth they go. What could be a shootout here in game number 3. Shock having trouble on the back wall. Hoxer, normal time. Somebody has to take it. It's normal. And now he's got Shock ready to break out downfield. Nose Dude in a spot of trouble, but Jay Wismont's there to bail him out. Now Nose Dude not able to dunk through Shock. Does not have anybody supporting him though, so no pass coming out. As both these teams now just kind of trying to feel each other out here, throwing little jabs downfield, waiting for someone to blink.
And SPLYCE definitely have the initiative. They've really had it the entire series so far, as they've had most control in Afterthought's side, and Afterthought, if they can shut that down, that is the key for them to win this series.
It'll be Nose Dude. This time he does get the better of Shock. That Hoxer is there. He can't find Shock downfield. Jay Wismont not able to follow this play up. And eventually someone will gain the upper hand here as we get to the midway point of a pivotal third game. SPLYCE clinging to a 1-goal lead, trying to extend it, looking for anything to open up on the offensive end. This shot is going to fall in. It looked like it just developed a magnet at the end and fell in.
Yeah, it might have gone off a Hoxer here. Karma just kind of lobbing this one towards net. Again, an open shot here. There's nobody in front of the goal, and it's actually Hoxer. No, it comes off the inside of the post and goes in anyways. But Karma gets the 3-1 lead here for SPLYCE.
Sometimes the Rocket League gods are on your side. SPLYCE, the beneficiaries there of the post being kind. 3-1 lead now. Looking to take a 2-1 lead in this series and get 1 win away from a repeat appearance in the rival series. Looking to join Manhattan as teams that go through that open qualifier process 2 seasons in a row. Jay Wismont takes out Hoxer. But Shock is there to complete the defensive play. Normal times on target, if not for the efforts of Karma. So now Nose Dude just skying this one up there, hoping that maybe Afterthought have expended most of their boost and aren't able to go climb the ladder for it. Hoxer looking for normal times. He's a little slow getting up there, but does very well even to get a touch and keep the play alive, only as far as the corner where Nose Dude kills it.
And SPLYCE now, they have a minute and a half left to hold on and go up into the series for Afterthought. Pressure starts to fall on them. With just under a minute and a half, like I said, they need to get some goals here and not be on defense the whole time like we've seen.
Blocked away just barely by normal times. And you start to wonder if maybe SPLYCE is going to take a similar approach to what Manhattan did in the previous series. You know, shut down Gyro of the Peeps. If they can shut down normal times, you would imagine Afterthought's going to have a heck of a time getting back into this series, even getting back into this game. It's Karma and Nose Dude. They tried to pinch that downfield. Now Karma's shot, able to get around on it right at normal times. And more importantly, Shock is there very quickly to start the play downfield, try to get this counterattack going. They do have time, but really they need to score sooner rather than later. They first need that stop from normal.
It's a great counterattack coming out from SPLYCE here. Afterthought had a very slow attack kind of building through the midfield and kind of these wobbly plays coming through in the air. SPLYCE immediately go down the field and find each other, and it's a much stronger attack in the end.
Karma stealing a full tank of boost from the Afterthought side and even getting that midfield boost. So Afterthought, if they're going to get anything going here, they need to do it with very limited resources, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. Shock, at least a shot on target, will be blocked aside, and SPLYCE are on the hill, 5 minutes away from getting back into the rival series.
Yeah, and what a story for SPLYCE if they're able to do it. A 2-5 season. It was a rough season for SPLYCE, a team that had most of the hype behind them coming into the last rival series. They're making a statement here against Afterthought, and it looks to me like a team that is extremely efficient moving down the field, and more importantly, locking teams into their half. You're seeing it in Afterthought really throughout the entirety of this series. They've struggled to get out of their half. I think the biggest thing, Stacks, the biggest thing between these two teams right now, SPLYCE, or excuse me, let's start with Afterthought. Afterthought, they have some good plays. They can string a couple things together when they're moving down the field, but it happens maybe 4 times a game. For SPLYCE, it's constant. They're finding each other in the midfield, finding each other in the offensive half, and that's what's locking in Afterthought right now. Once they break free, they get one good opportunity, and then that's it. SPLYCE comes back the other way, and they're locked in for another minute.
Right, and of course, this Afterthought team, when they actually got shots on goal, albeit just 5, they were able to win a very low-scoring game. You're not going to win many low-scoring games against this SPLYCE team because, as you mentioned, they just get shot after shot after shot, and it seems like just at a glance, I know it's a very small sample size, they do seem to be a little more efficient than they were last season.
Yeah, and again, for Afterthought, they need to score early. I think that's the key for them. Give them the confidence going into the game, score a quick goal, maybe 2, get a lead, and like they did in the second game, they kind of just held on to it and played solid defense.
It is must-win time now for Afterthought, otherwise they will be an afterthought in this qualifying process. They'll go down to the lower bracket, needing to win 2 matches to have, or needing to win a match just to have another shot at a play-in match for this season of the Rival Series. Hoxer will start it off for Afterthought, and not able to get one through Jay Wismont, as Jay Wiz just bullies his way through the corner. Full tank of boost, able to set up Nosedude if he committed to the play, but he didn't, and Shock will take advantage. Normal times there, trying to force one through Karma. It's just chaos in front. Jackie Chan-style defense, just objects flying all over the place, and finally the ball sent away.
And both teams coming out swinging right now as they trade blows end-to-end here. First SPLYCE, and then Afterthought. Now SPLYCE again, they put it away. It's Jay Wismont.
Jay Wismont finally taking advantage for SPLYCE. It really felt like they had 2 or 3 great opportunities. This one they convert on, and it comes super early in a closeout opportunity.
And now Afterthought, they need to do exactly what they just did in the beginning of the game, the first 10 seconds, get down the field and have a close attack, but they got to convert on it.
It's Karma twisting through the air, trying to center one again. Jay Wismont should be onto this. He is. That could cascade down, and it does, but normal times is right there for it. And the defense of Afterthought, it is all right, but they need to get in position quicker, as normal times can only sky this away. Nosedude to float another one up there. And that really does seem like an effective strategy for SPLYCE. Just chuck the ball downfield. Eventually you go chase it and hope that Afterthought make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really the most conventional wisdom here, but for Afterthought, we saw it in the first game. Hoxer was struggling with balls in front of the net, in front of his own net, and balls going over his head. And so, yeah, for SPLYCE, it is working. They are just throwing the ball down the field, and they're able to follow it up before Afterthought could even get to it.
Afterthought have forced SPLYCE into the defensive shell. They had a chance to maybe to break out on a counterattack, but everybody stayed home, just sending one out to try and get boost, because right now they're getting starved out a little bit. Shock now. He'll try to center, but Hoxer is not going to have a look as Jay Wismont blocks it away. That ball pinballs through and will eventually reach the midfield line. And again, Afterthought turned aside for a moment. Jay Wismont, big clear.
And that was great pressure there from Afterthought. That's probably the most pressure we've been able to see for them for a while, and it's because they were controlling the midfield boost and putting pressure on the net, meaning they were putting the ball off the back wall and forcing tough saves out of SPLYCE.
It looked like Shock actually just barely got in the way of Karma this time. And we've seen that a few times from this Afterthought defense. They're not necessarily playing the ball, they're playing the passing target, stopping SPLYCE from getting clean shots on target. Jay Wismont looking to flick one here. No, he'll just dribble it himself, and it's Hoxer who does make the stop. Hoxer, yeah, he's been adept in all 3 playlists. He's been a solid 1s player, great in 2s, fantastic in 3s. Just trying to parlay it all into success and reach the Rival Series. But if they're going to have a chance at it, they've got to score within the next 2 minutes. Hoxer now needs another touch. He's got it, but nobody there. Finally, it's Shock on the other side. Nosedude just watched it go by because nobody was coming on.
I threw my hands at the screen. There was no one home from Afterthought. Shock coming cross map here, and Karma already had her car past the front post, couldn't get back on the other side, and Shock, he puts it away, and this is great from Afterthought, tying up the game with more than enough time to take the lead.
This kickoff, one back for SPLYCE. And it'll be Nosedude with possession, but they haven't got out of their zone. It'll be Karma now. She'll have to take this herself, as Nose Dude was stuck on the back wall. Jay Wismont in no man's land, but he's able to recover just enough, and he makes the stop. Karma avoiding the demo at least, and keeping the play alive for Splyce downfield.
And Afterthought doing a great job of disrupting Splyce when they get the ball and try and go on a counterattack. You saw someone was right behind Karma, kind of bumping her around. She did dodge the demo, but she got bumped away instead. Afterthought, much better on defense.
The shot just falling towards the net is sent away, and now normal times. Not able to clear one past Karma. Down to the final minute. And again, it really is getting to be crunch time, especially for this Afterthought team, knowing that they do more than likely need the next goal if they're going to stay alive in this series. It really does feel like next goal wins here in the final minute. Normal times in the general direction of Shock. Good pass ahead for Hoxer. That'll drop down, but no interference. Nobody could go for the ball. It was good enough. Great interference along the goal line, and normal times gives them the lead.
And it really feels like Afterthought are starting to heat up here. They're able to put the ball down the field, string a couple passes together. It's clean Rocket League from Afterthought all of a sudden, and they get the lead here with 30 seconds left.
We could be headed to a fifth game unless Splyce have some heroics. Normal times. That will go way up towards the ceiling. Jay Wismont has to waste a lot of boost and a lot of time going up for it. Nose Dude, he misses. Nobody's downfield for Karma, so she can't start the counterattack. Another one thrown to the back wall by Shock. Afterthought, just peppering the backboard right now, just trying to kill off valuable seconds. Shock with a save, his third. And that may be the one that does it there. This will stay up in the air. A shot from Jay Wismont, saved. It was on its way in. Looked like it was going to pinball its way in, but Afterthought hang on by a thread to force Game 5.
And while it was a thrilling ending there for Splyce, like you said, Afterthought, finally, they come back, and I think that was the best game we've seen from Afterthought. Not only did they have the offensive pressure, they were locking in Splyce. They were doing so well on both ends of the field. It was a fantastic game from Afterthought.
Yeah, and just watch this again. This is how close Splyce came to forcing overtime. That was just about in until it's touched right there by the defender coming in from midfield, able to save Afterthought literally and force Game 5.
And here we are, Game 5 for Afterthought. It wasn't the cleanest series for them so far, but I think they're peaking at the right moment right now. They got Splyce kind of backed up into their end. If they can keep the momentum going into this next game, Afterthought looking real good.
Yeah, we were watching the bracket and we were following all the games and looking at how many upsets are we going to have? How many new faces are we going to see in the rival series? We could see 3 brand new faces if Afterthought are able to continue what they got going for them in that last game. What a performance, though, from Afterthought. Able to force Game 5, and they have such a huge opportunity in front of them right now.
And unfortunately to say this, but it isn't something that would be strange for Splyce to lose in the winner's side of the play-ins. They did it last time against Incognito, who was the weakest team in Rival Series last time, or in the last season, excuse me. So for Splyce, they do not want history to repeat themselves. Now, I'm not saying Afterthought would be the weakest team in Rival Series. I want to make that clear. But for Splyce, they did it once before, and this is Game 5. And I have to say, like I said before, Afterthought definitely looking like they have a lot more confidence going into Game 5 right now. Splyce in a little bit of a disarray in that last game.
Yeah, and for this Splyce team, you really wonder, Corelli, if it is, oh no, not again. You know, just like last season where they had to get it done in the lower bracket. You know, how many times can a team like Splyce kind of skin the cat, so to speak? How many times can they come so close to disaster but still tightrope their way into the rival series?
Well, they're going to do it again either way here. We are at a Game 5, and I think it's a team for Splyce that they should beat. I do think Splyce is the better team in this matchup, but it's play-ins. Whoever's playing the best on this day, they get in. And Afterthought, they're looking better and better. It's time for SPLYCE to put on the Stoots and take care of business.
Yeah, you do not want to drop down to the lower bracket, even though, yes, you do have that safety net. It really becomes kind of a roll of the dice at that point because so many other teams have been thrown down there. We have seen a couple of upsets. Just the entire lower bracket, it's kind of like a zoo down there. So for SPLYCE and Afterthought, it is 5 minutes to decide who is going into the rival series in this 5th and final game. And I don't want to bother making a prediction because God knows, predictions from me, they're the kiss of death. But again, SPLYCE, as you mentioned, they are the favorites, but the way Afterthought played in that last game and just the way that game finished, I really think that momentum could carry them through into the rival series.
Yeah, with all that being said, though, I think that SPLYCE has been here before. This isn't their first time. They've been around the block. They're experienced players. They're players that have been around the scene for a long time. God knows what's going through Afterthought's head right now. This is their first time coming into something like this, and going to a game 5 with a team like SPLYCE is nerve-wracking, to say the least.
Yeah, for SPLYCE now, and of course for Afterthought, again, we talk about the opportunities for all of these players. You know, to be a part of the biggest season, of course, you're not going to make it right into the RLCS where you've got the $1 million prize pool, but it is the biggest season of rival series to date, and it is a life-changing opportunity for all 6 teams that are able to play their way in. And of course, how fortunate they are to have that opportunity to have 6 open spots when really, of course, you would expect only 4 spots to be available.
Yeah, and like you said, nobody wants to go down to the losers bracket. And for SPLYCE, they've done it before. They definitely don't want to do it again. And like I said in the beginning of the series, I think SPLYCE comes in, they want to prove themselves again. They did not have a good rival series last season. They went 2-5. And I think this is a different SPLYCE. Personally, I think this is a different SPLYCE. If they can qualify right now, I think we're going to see a different type of SPLYCE that's more motivated, more confident coming into the rival series. But first, they have to take care of Afterthought.
They do, and they have to take care of business. And, of course, the tension just continues to rise, right? The pressure mounts even more and more as we build up to this 5th game. The players, again, getting ready for a game. It is one game, one single game of Rocket League to really potentially change your life forever. You want to make sure that the players' minds are right. You want to make sure everything is all set for these players. And for, of course, whoever wins, elation, the thrill of victory for whoever loses. Not quite agony just yet, but again, going down to that lower bracket, man, I've seen teams drop down there way earlier than they expected to. I've seen them drop down there even late in tournaments. The pressure is even that much higher when there's no safety net. You have one more bad series, and it's all over.
Yeah, like you said, no safety net, and I think for SPLYCE, again, they've been there and they've kind of done that. I don't think they want to do it again. But for Afterthought, I have worries about them. If they were to drop down to the losers bracket, I'm not sure how they would take it. Because then, for me, if I look at a team like that, the competition or the composition of that team, I'd say, okay, hey, there might be some tilt coming in here. We go down to losers bracket, have a tough game 5. You were so close to making it, but you didn't. We're going to find out here in game number 5.
If you are a fan of both teams, and how could you not be with the performance they've put on so far, I guess what you would want is you want Afterthought to win this match. You know SPLYCE can hold their own in the lower bracket, so they just win that match and everybody gets in, everybody's happy. It seldom ever works out that way, and now we are into Game 5. Champions Field. Somebody is headed to the rival series. And it could be Shock and this Afterthought team, though that shot's going to be blocked away. Another opportunity set away by Karma. And now Jay Wismont has Nose Dude lurking at midfield. His blast is blocked. Another save right on the goal line. And finally, Karma gets one through. But the way this series has gone, it looked like that one was going to be saved.
And it took all 3 of SPLYCE to put this one away. You see Jay Wismont, big bump there on Shock. It actually lands on top of his head and goes in there for Karma. SPLYCE scoring in the first 30 seconds.
Can only imagine what was going through the minds of these players. I don't think anybody envisioned a goal being scored against them 30 seconds in. Now let's see. It is gut check time for Afterthought, and that second touch from Shock, not nearly what he was looking for. Hoxer got a late break for this. It will drop almost straight down, and Jay Wismont very patient to collect this. At normal times, shot blocked at point blank range by Karma. Again, the strategy for Afterthought, get the ball to normal times and get out of the way. This is going right to him from Karma. Sometimes you get a little help. Normal times will have it from the corner. Needs the center. Let somebody else do the work. And Hoxer is going to at least stall the counterattack, but Shock had to be way back.
And again, great pressure here from Afterthought. It looks like they're kind of picking up where they left off. I know things got a little crazy in the beginning of the game. They gave up the first goal, but for Afterthought to kind of have a couple shots on target already in this game against Splyce is huge for them.
What a save!
Hoxer, you heard the man. What a save. Another shot coming in normal times. He'll make a save as well. Now Karma with another opportunity. This is what we talked about before. Splyce getting shot after shot, just a relentless barrage of opportunities.
Oh, wow.
And finally, Karma breaks through again for Splyce.
And this is all Jay Wismont. He cuts Shock right in front of his face, comes across, pops it up. Karma's there. Normal times can't get there in time. And a beautiful play between Jay Wismont and Karma.
2-0 the lead now for Splyce. Can Afterthought get back into this series? Can they make a run at the rival series? Normal times for himself, and he missed it. So Karma just trying to stall for time, and she's given away possession. Could be trouble, but Hoxer not able to catch up to the pass. Normal times lurking at midfield, and Nose Dude with the save, and narrowly missing Normal times, who was falling in the general direction of that rebound.
Man, and after so much pressure there from Afterthought, they just can't put anything on target. A couple saves coming in from Splyce, but nothing too dangerous.
Hoxer's given one away to Nose Dude, so normal times. He'll have to stay back and clean up the mess. Shock for normal times, and just way too strong. Normal times gave it a jump, but realized he needs to get back as more pressure comes out from Splyce. And just a little love tap there on Shock in the net. Will at least keep him home to make this challenge. And again, we're down to the second half of a decisive fifth game. Winner to the rival series, loser to the lower bracket. 2 minutes remain. Afterthought need anything at all to go their way. Right now they need Jay Wismont not to have a shot. Mission accomplished. They can't get downfield. Another shot coming in, and this one just goes far down and home for Nose Dude. Maybe it's just their day.
Yeah, and this comes off a normal time side flipping here. He was gonna go for this ball. That's why Nose Dude had so much time. Shock didn't really know what was going on there after the mishap there from normal times. It leaves so much space open for Nose Dude to take the shot. A 3-0 lead now for Splyce. You gotta think a thought coming in the back of Afterthought's head. What's going on right now?
Well, what's going on is they are watching a surefire shot at the rival series slip out of their grasp. Normal times to the backboard. Not a whole lot doing there. Karma will try to clear this, but it's Hoxer who makes the stop. Shock not able to get this ahead of Jay Wismont, and more time off the clock. Nose Dude trying to snipe the corner, and the shot just barely wide. It'll be normal times for Hoxer. His shot's gonna be wide. Second touch, left Karma at home. And the challenge by Karma enough to make sure Shock doesn't have a shot.
And now with a minute left in this game, it's time to go for Afterthought. They need to start stringing a couple goals together and convert a lot of these trips down the field here. They just can't find the net at this point.
Jay Wismont just waiting to see if Hoxer misses. He does not. But Nose Dude there, so too is Karma to back up the play defensively. Down to 40 seconds. Gotta score here, you'd have to think. If they're gonna have any chance at maybe a couple of kickoff goals to get back into this game. Good pass out towards normal times. Hoxer takes it instead, and normal times is still left on the ground, not able to get a scoring opportunity. Normal times, double touch, really just desperation at this point. Only 15 seconds remain. It has been impressive on the part of Splyce, facing adversity, facing a tough challenge from an Afterthought team that came to play. But as the final seconds tick away, time is run out on Afterthought, and we can welcome Splyce back into the rival series.
2 for 2 now. First Manhattan, and now it's Splyce. Congratulations.